Okay, last but certainly not least in section 2.3 are the word problems. Now these are my favorites. So first, remember we're in the section that's about lines, so chances are these word problems are going to involve finding equations of lines. In general, on word problems, we like to leave our answers in slope-intercept form when we find equations of lines, but I'll read the directions just to be sure. So now, let's read the first problem. And you probably can't see it on the screen, so get out your handout for section 2.3, and let's read together. It says, the average value of a certain type of automobile was $14,040 in 1994, and depreciated to $6,060 in 1997. Let Y be the average value of the automobile in the year X, where X equals 0 represents 1994. Write a linear equation that models the value of the automobile in terms of the year X. Now, what I want you to do is I actually want you to hit pause, and I want you to read this through a couple more times until you really get it straight in your head what they're talking about. Okay? I'm going to dive right in, and I'm going to point out to you they have defined the variables for us. They're telling me that Y is the average value of the car, and X is the year where X equals 0 represents the year 1994. Now, I often make up a story in my head to help me with word problems. The story I'm making up is, in 1994, I bought a car for $14,040. Okay? I'm going to make an XY table here. So that means, let's assume I bought it new. In 1994, my car was 0 years old. And I put 1994 next to it to remind myself that those two go together. When I bought my car new, and it was 0 years old, I paid $14,040 for it. Okay? Could have gotten kind of a nice car in 1994 for that. Okay, now, in 1997, I traded it in because I wanted a new car. Boy, that'd be nice to get a new car every 3 years, huh? Okay, so in 1997, my car is now 3 years old, 1997. Notice that's 3 years after I started. And the new value was only $6,060. Okay, now I've just organized the information they gave me into a nice XY table. I made up the story in my head. And now I see, what do they want from me? Write a linear equation that models the value of the automobile in terms of the year X. Linear equation. I need to find the equation of a line. So now what I do is I shift gears. I completely forget that this was a word problem. I put it out of my mind for the moment, and I just look and I go, oh, well, they gave me 2 points, and I know how to find the equation of a line if you give me 2 points. I'm going to find the slope, and then I'm going to use the point-slope form, or maybe the slope-intercept form, and then I'm going to find the equation of the line. Okay, I can do that. Let's start with the slope. The slope will be, let's see, 6,060 minus 14,040 over 3 minus 0. Okay, I don't know about you, but I can't do that math in my head. So I get out my calculator. Let's see. 6060 minus 14040, okay, equals negative, and let's go ahead and just divide by 3 while we're at it. I get negative 2,660. That's my slope. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment because I think my son just woke up from his nap. Okay. Okay, now we have found the slope, and so I'm going to look back at the information I have. And what I notice is that I have a point here where X is 0 and there's a value for Y. So this is the y-intercept because the X value is 0. So I can go straight to the slope-intercept form of a line because, so I will have Y is equal to M, we just figured out the slope was negative 2660x, plus B, the y-intercept, is also given 14,040. And there it is. Now, I will ask you one additional thing on an exam, and that will be to interpret what these numbers mean. So let's start with the y-intercept because it's the easy number. We already made up a story for this. This was the average value of the car when it was new, or when you bought it, or at the beginning of the time we started counting. Okay, so that's the initial value, we sometimes call that. Now the slope, it should be negative because this is depreciation. And if you ever get stuck on these, what you can do is you can add the units. Remember, rise over run. So that's Y, rise is Y, that was in dollars. Run was in years. So this is saying this particular car is losing value at the rate of $2,660 per year. For every year that passes, this is how much the value of my car goes down. Okay, so be sure that you can answer that type of question also. Interpret the slope. What does that mean to normal people? Okay, now, I would like you to try to do number 19 on your own. If you have questions about it, please ask me in class. And this is kind of a fun one because this particular linear equation only works for a limited number of values of x. Otherwise, it says that you have to start paying people to take your hot dogs. So think about that when you look at the equation, and we'll discuss this one in class. And that's the end of section 2.3. That wasn't so bad, right?